game. So it is a little bit past 5:30. My goal is to have everything wrapped up by about 7. We try to beat about half the length of a Marvel movie. We start to lose your attention after that unless we are doing special effects. So anyway, I am Alan Cain. I'm the executive director of the Solano Avenue Association. There are a couple of people here. Well, Todd just stepped out. Hi, I'm Alan Cain from the Solano Avenue Association. We've been waiting for you. It's about time. Took you a while to park, huh? Okay, awesome. Just teasing you, just teasing you. So I will be introducing, Todd. Hey, there you go. So Todd Abbott is with the Albany Chamber of Commerce. You will probably also hear his name associated with the Solano Avenue Association, as he is our vice president as well. But this event is technically hosted by the Albany Chamber of Commerce. So I'd like to give the Albany Chamber of Commerce thank you. Todd, thank you, the Albany Chamber of Commerce. We have a Solano Avenue Association Board of Directors. They have such a high confidence level in what I do that they don't attend these events. They're running businesses and doing other things. But we do have 2 board members here, which is Todd Abbott from the Albany Chamber of Commerce and Solano Avenue Association. I love those 2 name badges. And Jennifer Hansen Romero, who is with Winkler Real Estate Group, and she's also a volunteer on our board of directors. Woo! Yes. While we are still applauding people, and a couple of people have dual roles here. In fact, I'm going to leave it up to the City Council. I'm going to acknowledge the Albany City Council as being sponsors of this event, which means I'll be introducing Jennifer Hansen Romero as an Albany City Council member. Say hi to Jennifer. And then in the back row, in the east-south corner, is Peggy McQuaid from the Albany City Council. So these cities, yes, no, they deserve a round of applause. If it were not for the city of Albany, we would not be here. We would not be doing this event. We could not possibly afford it. We couldn't possibly do it without the city's backing. So it's huge that we have their support. So that's great. And then the Senior Center staff, I'm sure you're up there, Senior Center. We love using the Senior Center. Thank you. All right. With this size audience, we would usually hold off on doing introductions and letting people introduce themselves. I'm going to kind of process through this stuff, and if we have enough time, we'll definitely kind of do some introductions and let everybody know where they're coming from. We also have a little special gift to acknowledge the person that came the furthest, so we'll talk about that later. Yeah, ooh, see? Free? No, that's not that. All right, so I guess we're here to talk about an event called the Solano Avenue Stroll, right? It's in its 49th year. Why do we do it? It's to highlight Solano Avenue, right? It's for the businesses on Solano. It's to remind the community the treasures of what Solano Avenue has to offer. We'll also be talking about a document called the User's Guide. Cool. So you now know what we're here to talk about, Solano Avenue Stroll, a wonderful event. What separates the Solano Stroll from all the other street festivals? There's a lot of different things, but the biggest is our commitment to the nonprofit organizations that come to the event. That's the biggest #1 separator. Nonprofits, yay, right? We're also using you a little bit because you broadcast to your constituents that you'll be at the stroll that day, and we appreciate that. So that's why we cherish our nonprofits and a lot of other reasons, but it's great to have you help us promote the event. So of course, it's September 14th, and again, this is just something that we do every year. Has anybody been to this lecture, class, workshop before? Raise your hand, I'm just curious. Awesome, wow, I didn't scare you away last year? Cool, I need to work harder. Okay, all right, so we will start talking about this I'm just gonna read over this document, and we will stop at portions of it, and at the very end, we'll have some back and forth, and then we will hopefully have time to introduce ourselves, answer some questions, and get you on the road. Todd, can I get you to count this room, please? Thank you, appreciate it. We keep metrics on everything, whether last year we had this event and we were competing with the Olympics, so we weren't sure if anybody was going to show up, but we had record attendance. In fact, I think this beats last year. Awesome, thank you. I think the number's over there. Awesome, so the Solano Stroll User's Guide. I'm going to just start at the top. I'm going to start reading through it. I will stop at various places. And if there's any a real serious question that you have, you can't wait until the end of a particular paragraph or whatever, raise your hand. This is you and I. It's not me teaching you. Although I deserve to be a professor of the Solano Avenue Stroll, given my length of the association. But I do still learn something every day. So that's why I'm going to rely on you to teach me. Also, just by the way, as we process through this, Jason Bellevue, who's our president of the association, Has a lot of experience with Comic-Con, horse shows, and a lot of different things throughout the state of California. Todd Abbott himself is a vendor at a lot of outside of events. You're talking to a vendor. The vendors run this organization. The last event you did, I think, was San Jose Comic-Con. Just to give him a plug, his business sells capes and cloaks. Very collectible, high-end capes and cloaks. So cloaks and robes. So we have a lot of experience in this room. So we hope to harness it and talk about it tonight. So this guy that we're talking about is for Solano Stroll vendors. I know I read fast. I will try to go slow, but I also don't want to keep you here all night. And I also know that you know how to read. So anyway. So the Solano Stroll vendors, including SAA members on Solano Avenue, does not include logistical information found on the website. This document is broken down as follows. So we're not talking about setup. We can answer questions about that later for sure, because this year is going to be very different than most. Slightly different than most, but we'll talk about setup and some stuff later. So the brief introduction you got. We're already ahead of the game. Yay. Demographics and character, getting to know the locals, items for your consideration, and any business can benefit of a crowd of 250,000 people. So those are the 4 subjects that we'll be going over, and I'm just going to start reading down. So the brief introduction is the Solano Stroll began in 1974 and is produced by the Solano Avenue Association, a group comprised of volunteers who are business owners on or near Solano Avenue. An accurate count is hard to get, but we're told that the stroll attendance generally reaches 150 to 200,000 people. Right? Wow. And we believe it. Actually, this document has changed a little bit because we count your cell phones. We don't have any information about you or your ESNs or anything about your purchasing power or anything, but part of modern technology is we're utilizing is to count cell phones, recognizing not everybody has a cell phone, etc. And these are unique visits, so it just doesn't count. Our sensors don't count you every time you walk by. It just counts you as a participant, etc. So we're using high-tech stuff, and last year was over 200,000 people, so we're very surprised. This free community event is a closed street festival that spans 26 blocks. It's 1 mile long and is located in 2 cities, Albany and Berkeley. It begins with an opening ceremony that starts at 10 a.m. Vendors and entertainers are strategically located throughout the avenue. A lot of effort goes into placing booths in appropriate locations, believe me. The event features areas focused on different sorts of vendors, such as crafters, theater and performance groups, political groups, and so on. This is not a voting year, so our political groups will be fewer than last year. An exciting selection of food is one of the biggest draws, and food booths, some put out by established restaurants, others from vendors or nonprofits, are distributed all over the avenue. And this is an alcohol-free event catering to families. I'm going to put a pin in that line right there. Who here sells things? Just sells things. Good, good. Can you tell me how well you do at an event that doesn't have alcohol versus an event that does have alcohol? What? Oh, yes, what?
Yes, I used to work for a nonprofit school. We have spaghetti dinners with and without wine.
So, yeah. So our event's pretty rough, right? We got a stone sober crowd comparing your prices to the internet while they're walking around. Like it's a different environment when people are drinking, right? Yes. We discourage Solano Avenue restaurants from having drink specials the day of the event. It's a hot day. We don't need a lot of people walking around impaired for a host of different reasons, but it does affect sales for sure. So demographics and character. The Solano Avenue Stroll is unique, partly because the festival spans 2 separate cities, Albany and Berkeley, with differing demographics, right? So Albany is primarily younger families with multiple children. Berkeley in the past has had a significant number of older/retired residents. Boy, did the Chronicle call that one. But that demographic is also changing. Both communities are intelligent, community-minded, and politically savvy. Our data shows that approximately 80% of attendees come from Albany, Berkeley, and the neighboring El Cerrito. How do we know that number? Well, in 2015, we had a bunch of teenagers stand on Solano Avenue and ask people what their zip codes were. So we know people are reasonably local. And then we adjust our advertising based on those zip codes. If we find that we have a weak zip code in West Contra Costa County, we'll put more advertising into it. So we're very analytical. The crowd is culturally diverse. Wow. I mean, Solano Avenue, if anybody is familiar with Solano Avenue, we know how culturally diverse the business owners are, and it just makes it for an amazing street. So for many different reasons, it's important to understand your potential customers. Some people will be there to see a friend perform in a band or a dance troupe, or perhaps they're looking for an opportunity to volunteer for a community organization. So we have over 200 nonprofits last year, and we're projected to have more this year. Some come to the Solano Stroll just to adopt a pet, talk to a political candidate, get a great deal on a Subaru, or maybe they're a teenager there just to meet up with friends. And so why is this important, right? What is certain is that not everyone is there to stop at your booth. They're not going to stop at your booth. And in fact, a number of people walking by are not going to stop for reasons ranging from being late to a performance, or perhaps they're meeting a friend up the street. Perhaps they're rushing to catch a shuttle bus or just trying to find the closest restroom, right? So people are walking by for a host of different reasons. So this means that your success at the event, however measured, is a numbers game, right? So out of a crowd of 100,000 diverse individuals, your target and or sales goals should be realistic, and the following items should be carefully considered. So we'll talk about tips for success. Wow, we need more chairs? That's awesome. This is great. All right, so what is your goal exactly? Then stick to it. Avoid confusing the public with too many items. How are you going to convey your message and get visitors to remember it? So I'm going to stop there for just a second. How to convey your message and get visitors to remember it. For the most part, when I'm walking through like a county fair or any sort of environment, kind of like the Stroll, I mean, it's just me, but I'm pretty much trying to avoid people. I just want to do my thing. I don't want to stop at every booth. I don't have time to stop at every booth. And so for the most part, I try to not even make eye contact with certain people, like, checking my phone, and then I'll maybe look back and, oh, that looked cool, and maybe go back. But for the most part, this audience is not here for you. I'm sorry to tell you that. I break it to you, and I know it's hard for your ego, though. But really, they're here for a bunch of different reasons. What I tell the businesses is we stock the pond with 200,000 people. What you're going to do with that 200,000 people, you're not going to go after all of them. Right? You wouldn't go after every fish when you're fishing. You'd have specific bait. You'd use a specific technique. You'd go to a specific lake. And so you wouldn't go fishing just with a wide net. Maybe you do out in the middle of the ocean, but Solano's not the middle of the ocean. So here you have to be a little bit more specific. Maybe, what does that mean? If you're a real estate agent selling houses that day or showing houses that day, maybe you're specifically working with teachers. Maybe teachers work very hard. They're the most underpaid profession probably around, and so you're sympathetic to their concerns. And you're an insurance agent and you're doing life insurance. Maybe it's first responders or whatever the case is. Like, try to be targeted. You can, but it's better if you go for a specific audience, right? And as far as going back to this, avoid confusing the public with too many items. We're kind of doing it with you tonight. I doubt any of you actually checked our QR codes for our socials. I doubt any of you actually read our board of directors or looked at our list of sponsors, which is right here, our wonderful sponsors, including Waste Management in the City of Albany. And then over there, right? So people's attention spans, we're all busy, right? We all are, especially now, we're focused right in front of us. But it's just so important to not have so much there. I've seen nonprofit tables where it's just covered in pamphlets. And it's intimidating, and it's too much, and it's all 8-point font. Try to be real concise. Try to do what we gave you. Yeah, QR codes are really important. Funny thing is, we actually were one of the first events in the region to put QR codes on our posters. And then when COVID, before COVID, we decided to take those QR codes off because nobody was using them. Nobody was using them. We had metrics. Nobody clicked on them. And then now post-COVID, everybody clicks on them. So yeah, QR codes are really, really important. It also is much easier for someone to scan a QR code and walk away with information on their browser that they can look at later, right? So instead of forcing them on the spot. I'm going to kind of just keep going through this, and then because there's going to be a lot more questions later, unless anybody has any questions now. Awesome. Sean Charles from the Albany Chamber, thank you for making it. Oh, that's okay. Neither do I. So next up, because I have a transparent, I have to be honest with you. I am so blind. My version's printed in large print. So my pages, I'm on page 6, I think now, but you guys know. We're going to remember the variable Bay Area weather. Remember variable Bay Area weather. So that's where we're at in this document. All right, are we literally on the same page? All right. Yeah, my font up here is embarrassing. I just didn't want to wear glasses. I'm sorry. I'm so vain. All right, so but do remember the weather. In fact, I had an ice cream vendor come in earlier, and she was talking about how awesome her stuff is, and it's great. It actually made me really hungry. And then I asked her, so what are you going to do if the weather's bad? I mean, if I will, some of you are local, and I apologize because you already know this. But for those of you that are outside of the area, the stroll is going to be foggy until overcast until about noon, until about 11:30. It also hasn't rained since 2011. So the only thing that threatens us now is rain and wildfire smoke. So hopefully neither one of those events will occur. But it is important to remember the weather, because later in the day it's going to get real windy, right, and cold, and the mood's going to change, and the thing's winding down. So really do mind the weather pattern. It is so strange. Go for it.
Do y'all cancel if it's like torrential downpour?
Absolutely not. Yeah, it is a rain or shine event. Rain doesn't hurt you. Canopies protect you. We will save money on bands. Sorry, we don't pay the bands when they don't perform back there. So, apologize. Okay, good. It depends on what instrument you're playing, because we had a lot of bands go, "Oh no, I'm not taking my violin out in this." So, all right, so cool. The weather. What is the point of the weather? So it rains at the Solano Stroll about twice a decade, which means most years the weather is awesome. We do recommend a canopy, and most vendors use them. The average temperature is in the mid-70s, but without a canopy, that's a lot of sun. The day typically begins cool with fog that usually breaks to sunshine later. In the afternoon, it gets windy. I feel like I should have one of these pointers with a thing behind me. Sometimes significantly, and can become chilly. Food vendors may want to adjust their menus to serve warm beverages in the morning and later afternoon. Nonprofits, you're going to want to put paperweights on your documents that you're distributing. Just keep the varied weather in mind, and consider how the weather will affect your participation. All right, so I am on page 4. I know, it's funny. Don't make fun of me. All right, so this is a mile-long event with vendors on both sides. You may not see the same person twice, so close when you can. Maybe that means selling those earrings or a hot dog or signing up a volunteer for a shore cleanup day. Whatever it is, do it now. You cannot count on people being willing to come back to you to pick up a purchase, even if it's what you're selling is quite large. With larger or bulky items, and offer a free local delivery can make a huge difference. We had someone that made handcrafted wood tables, had a challenge selling them. He was really trying to sell them online, but once he told everybody that if you live in the 94707, 706, 708 area codes, we'll deliver after the stroll for free up until 9 p.m. Just blow out the tables that way. Just blows them out. And what's the trouble? Throw a table in your truck and go deliver it. It's not a big deal. Whatever. The point is to close immediately. Oh, I'll be back later. Oh, I'll keep this in mind. Oh, those are all, sales 101. No. Close, right?
Those of us who've done this, you can remember the 5 times it's ever happened. It doesn't happen very often.
I do it.
That's somebody's actually.
I do it. At the end of the show, I go, because I don't want to carry stuff.
You can go back to everyone.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I make an effort. I do make an effort. It's just so important, right? So the average festival guest is money conscious, right? People who attend the event are not necessarily expecting bargains, but they're wary of paying too much because it's a special event. Keep this in mind when pricing your goods, and consider offering something less expensive for the younger crowd. Things like earrings for that teenager on a budget, or a student discount at the food booth, or something else creative. We do not want the reputation of being too expensive to attend. This is really important. Who has been to the stroll before? Raise your hand, I'm just curious. Awesome. So you are aware of those metal barriers that are in the street that protect us all during the course of the day, right? They were implemented probably 2 or 3 years ago. They cost $100,000. And right now, luckily, the city of Albany and the city of Berkeley are splitting the bill, okay? If for some reason they discontinues paying the bill, we're either going to have to come up with $100,000 or discontinue the event. If we have to come up with $100,000, the natural thought or process would be, let's just pass it on to the vendors. I mean, I can't pay it. Todd can't pay it. And so we pass along the expense to the vendors. Each booth is maybe $400 more, which is just incredibly expensive and ridiculous. But if that were the case, how much would a corn dog be if the corn dog vendor paid that much to be at the stroll? So even if we had the money or even if we were put in a position to charge you, the vendors, more to participate in this event, it would grossly affect the character, the long-term character of the festival, because life is already so expensive. And if we get to a point where people stop coming because it's just too expensive, I can't afford to go, there's restaurants I have stopped going to, okay? It can happen, right? So we're very careful about raising rates on you guys for that reason. This year we did a 12% increase, but we haven't raised rates in like 2 years prior to that. So we're very meticulous about what we're doing because we don't want the end result to be a $30 pair of earrings or a $17 corn dog. And I had to digress with the barriers because although the crowd is money conscious, we just have to pay attention to that. They really are, and a street festival can easily get the reputation of being too expensive or too difficult to attend or too difficult to vend at. And so we have to keep an eye on all of these moving pieces, right? So a crowd attracts a crowd, and an empty area is not attractive. Keep traffic as high as possible at your booth. I'm going to put a big pause right there. I talked earlier about, for the most part, how I avoid talking to people and all these other things. I have many examples of this, but I will give you my latest example. Like most of us, we are the tourist destination. So I am entertaining some out-of-town guests who I took to Chinatown recently. And in Chinatown is San Francisco Chinatown. There is a store that has claw machines that we're all very familiar with back in the Denny's days. But these claw machines don't pick up fluffy pets. They claw mystery boxes. You don't even know what you're getting. And I know anybody that's been to any fair or festival recently knows that mystery box right now is the #1 trend, right? It's crock, charms, mystery boxes. So mystery boxes, in case you don't know, are boxes that are sold that are based on just a price. We have a $20 mystery box, you don't know what's in it, a $30 mystery box, etc. So go by this place, this claw machine place, nobody inside of it. The 2 staff people are talking. The store looks great. The claw machines are all new. It's all bright LEDs, all fancy, but everybody's just walking right by. They would look and they just keep walking by. And I literally watched one person go in, one couple. They went in, the next couple went in, and all it took was just those few people, and the place was packed 10 minutes later. Clubs know this. Like nightclubs in San Francisco, you can't see inside of a nightclub. So their marketing is done outside. So you've got a line of people outside this club, right? It's so important to make sure that there's traffic at your booth. Even if it means your staff is in front. You know, everybody has this tendency to sit in the back of their booth, sometimes at the very back, maybe on their phones or whatever the case is. May not necessarily be inviting, and might even just be on break, right? I've had people go, oh, you know, what's wrong with that vendor? They're just on break, whatever the case is. But it doesn't invite a conversation, right? Having people in the front of your booth is so important. If it's just friends, if it's just family, if it's just you, even if it's just you standing in front of the table, just straightening things out. It's so important that you acknowledge the people walking by you for a host of reasons. And once that one person is there, you will see. I'm not the only one experiencing this. We all know this, right? Once you see a few people, you have this tendency to stop and go, what's happening? What's going on here? And the next thing you know, you've got a crowd. So pay attention to that, because the opposite is, if you don't do that, then you've got nothing in front of you and nobody's really paying attention to you. So you don't want that for sure. So it's important to have something at your booth that attracts attention and entices people to shop. If you aren't selling eye-catching merchandise, get creative. Some ideas include having the Sunday football game playing on a small TV where everyone can see it, or having a big bowl of colorful candy to attract the kids, sugar-free of course, who will of course drag their parents over to that free piece of candy, right? Or perhaps you should sell something to the little ones, or perhaps You should have something for the little ones to do while you talk business with the adults. Keep some coloring books and cold water bottles on hand. Perhaps invest in a cold water dispenser that everyone will see and encourage the public to stop and fill up. The environmentally conscious do not use plastic water bottles around here, so keep that in mind. And once people are comfortable, once they're cooler and they're hydrated, they'll stay longer. All right, so we want them to be comfortable. You can ask 2. So, so that's a very great question, and it's a very gray line. The health department, they have enough to do that day. They do come out. This is a Sunday, so every city official, health department inspector, etc., makes double, triple time that day. So they're definitely out, and they have plenty to do, right? We have 60 food booths. The city of Berkeley has their own health department, and Alameda County has their own health department, and for the most part, they're all busy. Is it legal for you to sell water without a health department permit? No. Is it legal for you to distribute water without a health department permit? Yes. It's really strange what happens in terms of like laws and sales tax collection and all that stuff. But for the most part, I would say just use your judgment. If you're not selling it, you're probably going to be okay. If there's not a vendor next to you selling water for $1 a bottle and you're giving it away, probably going to be okay. I mean, the point is we want people to be hydrated. It's a safety thing. I actually have a medical condition where I need to stay hydrated. So in terms of water and stuff like that, I don't really think that it's an issue. But if you do have a health inspector who's brand new that comes by and asks questions about what you're doing, it has to be a lot to get the health department's attention, right? So a bottled water or an Alhambra, we want to plug Alhambra, but some sort of water thing, etc., not a big deal. But once you're out there with like, I've got horchata and like this and that, and we're taking donations and like all that, then it's like, so it really just is a judgment situation. Anything past like the water or just kind of general refreshments can cause alarm. But you're right, we are pretty strict about it. Just because also, we just want to make sure that everything that's distributed at the event that's consumable is safe. That's like the number one thing, right? So if it's just water or lemonade, you're probably okay. But if you start getting into something that's perishable, milk related, etc., then it can be an issue. Does that clarify it, or is anybody cool?
So do we want the sandwiches and ice have arrived? Do we want to give folks an opportunity to grab something?
This is a democracy, last I heard. We could pause for a quick break. You want to raise your hand? We'll take a vote. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I just need to finish up and get the heck out of here. Okay. I know what you're thinking. All right, cool. So let's just kind of go down this. So they'll stay longer. Go for it. It's appropriate now. It was appropriate 5 seconds ago. It depends. Again, not everybody's paying that full attention. I mean, if you've got the kind of candy radar that you're able to like there's a bowl of candy back there, I can do that. But I mean, in general, I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would try it, and if you run out or whatever, then oh well. But so here's the point of the candy. Yeah, I mean, you have to be there because what the kids will do is just grab an entire handful, right? So you have to be conscious of what's going on, or just expect kids to grab handfuls. Yeah. Well, and the other thing is we have a great Safeway on Solano. We've got a CVS on Solano. We've got an Andronico's on Solano. So if anyone here runs out of supplies or anything, you're always going to be close to some retail outlet that can help you out. So, and kind of going back to this, real estate agency. So I don't know, I'm sure all of you have noticed that we haven't had mechanical rides in quite some time. And we've been trying to compensate that for ever since the loss, really. And one of the ways that we've been trying to compensate for it is asking you, the vendors, especially the commercial vendors, to do something cool. something, face painter, wheel, whatever the case is, take some pictures of it, and give you a $100 discount. Most of you nonprofits don't know that because you haven't registered as a commercial vendor, but as a commercial vendor, we give you a $100 rebate off of your participation when you do something cool. I'm going to use a real estate agency as an example. They actually set up 2 tables, and they had this whole little craft project that involves kids making little houses. It was like cardboard paper, or cardstock paper, popsicle sticks, and some other stuff. And while the kids were just captivated, right, just involved, leave me alone, the parents had nothing to do but talk to the real estate agents. So where are you guys from? Oh, just da, 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 da. So you can imagine, right? There's many examples. And I mean, anybody else have any examples of something like that?
Is there like any extra incentive for the very bottom of Solano?
So we don't call it the very bottom of Solano. That hurts me. So we call that the west end of the street. We don't call it lower Solano, upper Solano. Just teasing. No. That's just me being sensitive. Actually, one of our sponsors for this year's event is dead in the center of this page, which says Upper Solano, which is they're forming their own identity and doing some other stuff. So you wouldn't be the only one to say lower or upper. So there's considerable psychological reasons why you make sure that your booth has traffic at all time, even if it's your own people standing in front of your booth. The best booths offer something interactive and eye-catching with people who are staffing the booth that are attentive and engaged. On the other side of the spectrum are the booths that feature a plain table with some flyers and a person sitting in the back looking at their phone. I know that that's the modern way of doing things, but it just hasn't resulted well around here. So any business can benefit from a crowd of 250,000 people. That is a very bold statement. I tend to back it up and defend it. I will say that our gas station doesn't sell any gas the day of the stroll. So, the 7-Eleven doesn't sell, or the Safeway is not as busy as they usually are on a Sunday. But other than some rare examples, right? So you may not have a take it now item for sale, and you may want to target clients for the future. Just so we're on the same page too, I'm going to just mention that the highlight here, or the headline here, is any business can benefit from a crowd of 250,000 people. I'm on page 20 now, so you're probably on page. Just kidding. You're on page 3. There you go. I'm just kidding. My font's not that big. I'm just teasing it. I got 6 pages. So you may not check attention. Okay, so you may not have a take it now item. A florist, for example, flowers may not sell at the Solano Stroll. They're too fragile to carry around, and the car is too far away or too hot to store them. But we recommend that flower shops in Solano put out a beautiful display that will attract attention and hand out with a smile coupons, good for perhaps 20% off for special event flowers, graduations, weddings, or perhaps a coupon offering a discount for the next 30 days, right? Have people enter a drawing. Again, just generating traffic to your booth, right? A free bouquet delivered at the end of the day, whatever the case is. Hold a Flowers 101 class every hour if you have to. Of course, we're talking about florists, right? So the Solano Avenue Stroll will give back what you put into it. I love that line. It's almost like life, right? Anything. It gives you back what you put into it. If you go out there, your stuff is, funky, and you haven't had a lot of sleep, you're hungover from Saturday night, whatever the case is, all of these things are instruments in the symphony of your success, right? So you want to make sure that there's no weak links in your symphony. All the instruments are playing on note. Do not ignore the power of coupons, right? Print a discount postcard nice enough for people to actually put it on their fridge. Talk about that later. With a discount significant enough to keep it there. Distribute coupons good on a birthday, or a 2-for-1 good during downtime for your business. We have a business on Solano Avenue who started. Most businesses are closed Mondays. It's kind of a reset day for them. And because of that, this one business on Solano Avenue started selling oysters on Mondays, $2 oysters, and it's packed. In fact, I can say it's Cugini's. They're awesome. So Cugini's started doing Monday night $2 oysters, and now they're packed. Like it's a Friday night, and Mondays are typically the slowest day. So it's pretty insane to watch that happen. So the coupon that I talked about that goes on your fridge, right? The world famous coupon. Does anybody know what that coupon was? It was blue and white. We used to have a store in El Cerrito called Bed Bath and Beyond. The most successful coupon program there ever was. Everybody put it on their fridge. It was 20% off. It was good on anything that they sold. It was good online. Not that I'm here to promote Bed Bath and Beyond, but their coupon was the most successful coupon in recent history. And it was not pretty. It was an ugly, big blue coupon. So I don't know. Be inventive. Ask a friend if your booth. Ask a friend if your booth plans sound appealing, or if your giveaway is worth stopping for. A considerable number of freebies end up in the trash at the end of the day. Maybe you want people to earn or win that freebie, so they're more likely to keep it. Now, we're at the Solano Stroll during the event. We give away red bags. They have our sponsors on them. We're just giving them away. But we also hand them to people who we use finesse. We don't just hand them to somebody who's got their hand open. We'll make eye contact with them. Would you like a bag? And make that little emotional commitment. They're more likely to keep it. In fact, at the end of the day, given the fact that we hand distribute that day, including the vendors, we love the high school Kiwanis Club. They'll be distributing bags to all the vendors, bags to the public. And at the end of the day, I have never, ever found one of our red bags on the street at the end of the day. And I'm not, nothing. It is an empty, it is one of those, red tote bags are one of those situations. You either have so many next to your fridge that they're falling out and you don't need anymore, or you're desperate for them, right? It's just one of those weird items where it's like a water bottle. You're either like, I need it, or like, oh no, So just, right, it is cool. So now we have two separate bags. We have the backpack bag and then the tote bag and all these cool things. And we give those bags out at other events, and we use those bags to track people on Solano Avenue when we hold events. Not the stroll, because there's too many people. But when we have our smaller events, we give them away at Santa Fe and Solano, which is mid-Solano, and then we monitor for the rest of the day how long those bags stay on the street, whether or not they're having dinner after our events, and we can that way show with I think pretty good accuracy that people are staying on the street after our events and going into the restaurant. So those bags are really cool, and maybe we'll put air tags in them next time. Anyway, very proud of the fact that we don't contribute to the large amount of waste that's inevitable at the end of the day. Luckily, we have our good folks at Waste Management. So, but just be careful about what you're giving away, right? I think there's all kinds of trends. I still wonder like what's trendy now. Hand sanitizer was the hit for a minute, right? So it just depends. But yeah, just try to make sure your stuff doesn't end up on the street. Have a closer, something to tip the scale on that purchase to make it happen. Suggestions include covering the sales tax, or including an additional item, or if it's a gift item. Wow, AI didn't catch that. You can remind the potential buyer that there may be birthdays or anniversaries coming up. So this is really important. You always have that person that's like right there, right? They want to volunteer, or they want to buy this, or they want to buy that, whatever the case is. There has to be something there for you to take that scale and just tilt it over a little bit, whether it's whatever comes to your mind. I'm open to suggestions. The free sales tax thing, especially in a county like Alameda County, where your sales tax is 10.6 something, whatever. That's $10 out of 100. So if somebody's buying a $100 item, hey, I'm going to cover the tax. And then do the math and make sure you're accountants and you're doing it legally. So in terms of like a volunteer situation or a nonprofit, what would I do? It's just the AAA thing of like sign up now and get a free radio, kind of cheesy.
You could plan some sort of volunteer opportunity to event.
Yeah. Yeah, something you can sign up for right then and there, right? Like, when's your next event? It's a shoreline cleanup in April. That's kind of far away. One that sounds fun. Like what?
Well,
Shoreline cleanups.
Not transferring the Rolodex.
Right. Collecting school supplies. Like there's so many different things out there. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, we're Calix.
Oh, KLX.
KLX.
Yay.
Thank you. Well, last year was our first year, and we had a couple of different things we could win. We had a spin the wheel and win something off of the wheel right now. Swag, little thing. But then we also had a totally different thing, an entry. People filled out a form, and we had a grand prize of an actual boombox, super popular, and of course, Calix t-shirts too. We did the drawing at like about 4 o'clock, and we actually had people circle back at the time when the drawing was. It's like, you don't need to do that, but they did. And yeah, we got hundreds of people to fill out the entry. And we even had a thing on the entry form that said, hey, do you want to hear from us about news in the future? And we got an opt-in on it, which was great. Yeah, that's what we did, but we also have one extra thing that had not only a URL but also a QR code, and it was teeny, like that big piece of paper. And we just handed them to anybody that said they listened to the station. That way it gave them something to do later.
Wow. I'm not going to try to repeat all that for the microphone, but one of the takeaways that I will repeat is the comeback at the end of the day. Even though that was not your intention, you can certainly ask people to come back at the end of the day. And as far as the event producers are concerned, we love the idea of retention. So, keeping them there to the end of the day, especially when the mood and the crowd starts to thin out around 4. That's why we always ask the bands that last hour, Disney rules, has to be loud and proud. So yeah, that's a great suggestion. I like that, circling back. And then the prizes were pretty significant too. So that really, I'm sure, helped. So you said a boom box? What was the boom box? Was it just a... It's like a Bluetooth speaker is what I'm guessing. Like an actual boom box. Wow. Cool. Wow. I heard cassettes are coming back. Yeah, they are. Mixtapes for the ones you love. All right, so you can promote yourself now and set yourself up for the future, whether you're selling flowers or mortgages, right? Though in some cases, you will not have customers on the day of the Solano Stroll, but that does not mean you should ignore the potential for marketing your product or service to the future of a crowd of 250,000 Avenue guests. I need to re-edit some of this stuff. All right, so an event like this is a great way to expand your email list or social media connections. The selfie opportunities on the street. We've had people set up selfie opportunities, which is huge right now. Yeah, I agree. Offer something when folks sign up for your newsletter or connect to your account, right? If you do not want to buy a lot of inexpensive stuff to give away, have people connect to you in exchange for being entered into a drawing for a larger prize. If you do not want to deal with transcribing handwritten email addresses, display a QR code to make it easy for folks to connect directly online. So, of course, it's very difficult to read handwriting these days. And so it is always nice to have them go online where they can. Yes. Sure.
And may I ask how many signups you got? Well, just you said opt-in.
Yeah, well, in fact, I was the person who did have to transcribe all of those handwritten things. And we had about, I would say, 450 to 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow. That's significant. I sometimes forget where I was. It's kind of funny. So yeah, unfortunately, at such a busy event. Yes. Oh, we'll talk about that. Unfortunately, at such a busy event, there's the risk of shoplifting and the use of counterfeit cash. If you are selling items that are easily carried or concealed, be sure that the more expensive items are not displayed right in the front of your booth. People staffing the booth need to be attentive. If you need to leave your booth for a few minutes, ask an SAA block captain. Or call the number and we will have, or neighbor, and we will definitely have somebody watch your space for you while you go to the bathroom or whatever the case is. There will be staff wearing these vests. Jennifer refuses to wear one unless it has like bling on it. So we put some rhinestones on one of them, but they fell off in the heat. I did not. I didn't. I never washed them. They'll fade that way.
So if you see somebody running around in one of these, you can usually flag them down. We usually have radios, stuff like that. But also, if they ask you to do something, please don't fight with them. They've got a lot of people they're dealing with. Just try to be pleasant, work with us,
We're all
not
volunteers.
against us.
All
We're all
volunteers.
volunteers, and we will do whatever we can to try to accommodate you. But sometimes some things are just not possible. So just if you could be patient with all of us, we appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. This is Jennifer Hanson Romero, on our board of directors, by the way. Also Albany City Council. All right, so now we're getting down to food vendors. I know that we've talked a lot about it, selling things. We've got nonprofits here. We've got bands here. So we're really trying to cover a lot of the bases and cast a wide net here. So we're going to talk about food vendors real quick. We prefer food vendors who sell food types that complement existing Solano Avenue restaurants, not compete with them. So you're not going to see too many food vendors that are selling Mexican food or things that are in direct competition with our cherished existing restaurant groups. Sometimes what is left at the festival is carnival food, right? So if you take away all the Thai food and this and that, you're kind of left over with corn dogs and some of the fun stuff. At a festival, the things that do best are things that you cannot or should not eat every day. Half of your customers are going to want to eat something with one hand, and families are looking for value meals. Try not to overwhelm the public with a complex menu. Chef Ramsay talks about that all the time. Confusion leads to long lines. Have just a few choices, including something vegetarian, beef, chicken, and then pork, the standard fast foods. Consider a family deal, a discount on food for 3 or 4 people, whatever the case is. You can come up with some suggestions. Solano Avenue restaurants should also have a simple outside menu of items appropriate for strolling. In fact, outside dining is preferred. The restaurants that do best are the ones that set up tables outside on the street after the parade passes. We've had fewer and fewer Solano Avenue restaurants participate at our event, and it's very sad. And the reason is technology. Their point of sale systems and their, what do they call them in the expediting systems for food all have table maps and all this other stuff. They can't really just add a bunch of tables out to run their business without really affecting the way that their terminal system works and distributes their orders. So it's really sad. But that being said, the restaurants that do participate outside really do the best. So contact the association if you have more suggestions. Wow, is this the end of the thing? Wow, oh my gosh. Whoa. All right, well now comes that time. But hold on one second. Let me just do one quick thing. Yeah, I don't have any notes on the food stuff. Go for it. This is the fun part, the Q&A part that I really enjoy the most.
Thanks for all of this. It's been really good.
You're welcome.
I've never been, and it says a parade. Can you say more about that?
So you've heard me use 2 words so far tonight. You've heard me say opening ceremony, and you've heard me say parade. We used to have a parade. Because of the length of it, we were asked to reduce the parade to what we now call an opening ceremony that went from about 100 organizations with multiple people within their organizations to 25 organizations. So it was a significant reduction in our parade that was requested by the cities. And I will say at one point, the parade in, I think, 2019 or 2018 was an hour and a half long. And there's just no reason for that. So it starts at Calusa and Solano at 10 a.m. and it works its way to the BART tracks, which is Masonic, and then they spread out. So if you're below the BART tracks, you won't see it 10. It kicks off the event. So really it's 7 a.m. I mean, that's, yeah. So, and I want to talk about that for a second, the way that you said that. 7 a.m. I mean, it does seem really early. But I will tell you this. I have so many organizations that go, what's the latest we can set up? What time is the latest we can set up, or that kind of thing? I always recommend setting up as early as possible. Number one, everybody in the street still your potential customers, right? You're there early, or the vendors. Maybe before the vendor next to you gets really busy, you might be like, oh, hey, what are you doing over there? This is what I'm doing. You never know. You're going to make connections like that. You will also have an easier time parking your vehicle the earlier you set up. One of the biggest challenges that Solano has, even just by nature, really, is the fact that it's nestled into a neighborhood that's sensitive about their parking, and it's just very challenging. There are, if you require like wheelchair accessibility or anything unusual like that, please do contact us directly. But yeah, the earlier you get there, the better your whole life is going to be. And I just will also say, by the time the event starts, you're relaxed, you're ready, you're in the mood, right? You're ready for this. I had a half a glass of wine earlier. I get a little bit of stage fright sometimes, and I felt the half a glass of wine would be better than throwing up in front of you. But what you do want is, first, yeah, first impressions are everything, right? And so you want to be ready, you want to be awake, you want to be, hey, how are you? But not, too scary, like, what's wrong with this person? So it lasts about a half hour. We promised the police that it would take about because all the police and fire department are stuck in this thing for like a half hour, right? So they're trying to. There you go. Yeah. The earliest, the better. The earlier, the better. Yeah. So the fire department leads our opening ceremony. So in case there's a fire, they take off. The police are there, and so that was part of the reasons why, especially with a smaller police department, that you'd want to wrap this parade up pretty fast. So. Yo, we're gonna get to that because you are gonna need gate passes. Anyway, go for it. There was a question. No, there's very few outlets on the street. We preserve that for our entertainers, and the fire department does not like the use of extension cords. I will say, I don't want to promote. There's no place on Solano that sells this, unfortunately, but there are things that they're little generators. The battery technology these days is incredible. I know of DJs. I mean, I was talking to a DJ that does Burning Man, and his whole life has changed. He's like, oh, I can just run this whole thing, the whole weekend. And I'm like, really? And it's like this battery. Anyway, yeah, no electricity. Long story short. Pardon me? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. What would you want to do with electricity? I'm just curious. That's a good idea. Yeah. I was asking because we do recommend like having the game on. If you want every man, 60%. I'll play it safe. 70% of having the game on would really be cool. In fact, what was that? What was that?
I knew he was stopping. I think you should just not.
Oh, fair enough. Men and women. I apologize. The men traditionally stop though. I'm only going to get myself in trouble here. Football. There's always multiple football games. One of the things that we fight with during the stroll is Cal, because they want our cops, they want our display boards, they want half the stuff that we need for this event, and so we're very cognizant of the fact that they're doing their games up there. Yeah. My recommendation is if you're on the street and near a restaurant like, let's say, Pete's or Starbucks, you could probably do that. But yeah, citywide Wi-Fi as yeah. As vendors, I know like if you were at a county like a fairgrounds, you'd probably have Wi-Fi, but not. Have you ever seen Wi-Fi at a street festival? I'm just curious. Yeah.
And that's an important point because there are 200. Well, we're going to say 100,000 cell phones on the avenue. So it's not good to say stream video over even your cell connection. Monetary transactions are usually fine but don't do anything. Don't count on doing anything.
We do have 3 sites. Yeah. We do actually have 3 cell towers on Solano actual, so your signal will be great, but you will also be fighting with 100,000 people for it. But AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, you'll be fine on Solano. And that wasn't always the case, actually.
Some of us actually still don't use those. So have either a URL we can go to, or people who are like, I can't even engage with you because I don't use QR.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard of people actually just setting up just, you know, like Bob at the Stroll at Gmail accounts, you know, things that are easy for people to remember just for that reason that they don't want to do the, and that's why we printed out these papers as well, right? Not everybody is still stuck in the digital realm. So we're going to need more questions. It's not this easy, folks. Don't tell me this. Doing what?
May I make an invitation?
Yes, you may.
I'm with the Albany Jazz Band.
Yay. They are jazzy.
Hometown jazz band. I don't know of another band that's been in Albany as long as we have. We're at the stroller from 11 to 1. We are now on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, you name it, all over the world. You can look us up, Albany Jazz Big Band. Boom! You can play our music whenever, at the stroll, at home, at your business, anytime, please. Thank you.
Actually, what I'd like to, yeah, thank you for that. Actually, I was just kind of looking at the time. We do have enough time to go around and just have everybody do a quick, you know, and if I start coughing, that means you should stop. Like, just cut it off, whatever you're doing. So I guess we'll save the best subject for last. Well, no, the best subject we'll save for very last. So back to the metal barriers, the aforementioned metal barriers. The plan is to completely seal Solano Avenue and have only certain streets where you can enter. And I don't have them memorized because that list is very new to me. And we're talking about vehicles. You can always walk onto the street. But it's the police. The police in their perfect world would have all of the side streets sealed by 7. In their perfect world, yes. Oh, you can. You can through these entry points. So they're about every 4 blocks. There's a total of 6 of them. They're all going to be on the north side of Solano, except for one has both sides. So Masonic, the BART tracks, the light there, you'll be able to enter both sides. The rest will only come from Marin. So you'll come up Marin, you'll enter at Cornell, Masonic, Santa Fe, Pearl. I don't want to get you wrong, but the list is on the instructions and this.
Quick question on that.
Sure.
Fresno.
Yeah, Fresno. Yes. I can't predict what will happen that day, but in theory, so they are going to increase the security protocols at this event. So not only will we be adding the number of gateways to Solano, but you will need a pass to show the police, and they will let you in. The pass will be distributed. We don't want to distribute it now. The police want us to distribute it about 2 to 3 weeks as a sweet spot. So please do keep an eye on your emails. We have been told that they will also have lists, so it's not like if you forgot it at home, they can also check the vendor list, but it's going to make your entry to the festival much smoother when you have the pass thing. You probably can't even, I'm just going to pass my phone around, but no, it's just something you're going to show them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. They're going to be super cool about it. They're just so concerned about security, but they're going to be super cool about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. You first. Go ahead. Rochambeau. It is the wild, wild west. They're parking lots. So we're going to give you a couple of inside scoops, all right? The first inside scoop is there are, how do I say this without getting myself in trouble? There are going to be, imagine there being large properties with parking lots that may not be open on Sundays. Like a place that rhymes with Wells Fargo. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm not giving you permission to park there, but I'm just saying, I mean, there is a place called, just rhymes with Bank of America. It's just pretty big. Anyway.
How early do you
7 o'clock. Yeah, the police will probably not even let people on the street past 9:30. Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would not wait long. Yes. Oh, so the entry points are already online in the setup page, on the setup page, but we'll be sure you have that information as well. So yeah, they are definitely increasing security. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's there.
Also, sorry. Go ahead.
Do we already know where our foods are?
You should. So logistically speaking, this event is done. So everybody's been placed. There's a few scragglers. So it depends on when you registered. If you registered in the last week or two, probably not. If you registered before that, you should have gotten several notices by then. Yeah. And then we're also, when we send out an email, traditionally, we'll send out the email before it, under it, and make it very clear, like this was sent out June whatever, this was sent out July whatever. And we try to name our updates. So I think we're at actually update 2 now. Sir. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's very we have to remain flexible. There's lots of organizations that yes, yeah. If there's any situation where you want to change, let us know. Yeah. With food vendors, it's a little bit more challenging, especially if we get closer to the event. But you will be getting an email soon that says, "Look, don't don't verify that you're at the right location," or what does it say? Something to the extent of, "Look, but don't respond to us." I mean, we sent out one year a thing saying, "Hey, check out your location and let us know what you think." And like 500 people wrote back, "It looks great." I'm like, anyway, just.
And that goes to the point. Half of you were not here yet when he was letting you all know about the fact that he is our only paid staff member. So when you're wondering why somebody hasn't like answered your phone call or whatever, it's because it's just him. And the rest of us are volunteers. We only help out. He is the day-to-day only person answering the phone, answering your emails. He's a one-man.
Or ignoring your emails and ignoring them.
So if he gets a little short or testy at the time, please don't blame him.
I always tell people, especially those that have my mobile number directly, I tell them, when you call me on the day of the stroll, I don't know what version of me you will get. So just be aware of that. I'm like a gremlin. Don't feed me. Don't put water on me. Closer to the stroll, I get fragile.
Also, if anybody has like friends who live in the area or something, that might be a source of parking for you. So you might want to think about that. One of the other things that I try to tell all of our vendors is when they're coming on, you guys are. I've been a vendor on the stroll before too, so I understand what it feels like. You're in a rush. You've got all this stuff. You're trying to remember everything. Get your list. Make sure you've checked it twice and everything else like that. But the great thing is if you can drive in and maybe have another person in the car with you or a person meeting you at your location and you just unload your car and then take it to a parking spot. Walk back and then finish setting up your booth. Do not try to let's put this table here and no, don't do any of that. Also at the end of the day, again, we talked about, we want you out and
Please launch.
we want you off of the street itself. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of stuff. Even if you think it's going to take you like a long time to pack up, please grab your stuff off of the street, put it onto the sidewalk, and start packing up there. That way it gives you a little bit more time. Because all we really need to do is we need to open the streets for traffic. But in order to do that, we need everybody out of those parking spots and up on the sidewalk. Don't, please watch out for ADA compliancy. Don't block the sidewalk from people being able to get by and everything. But if you can at least get those things off And then that way it helps us open up the street that much faster.
Yeah, what time?
So 5 o'clock the event ends. The police will start to get people off of the street and onto the sidewalks. And once there are fewer people on the street, probably 5, 20, 5, 30, then they'll let the vendors onto the street. But the street has to be pretty much cleared of people.
And we need to be out by.
I mean, you need to be off the street by 6 or 6:30, but I welcome you to stay on Solano Avenue for sure. Don't leave Solano Avenue. Like, go have dinner. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, hang out. Has anybody? Yeah, absolutely. Has anybody seen the end of a stroll? Or I guess the point is that I'm trying to make is this. You know, the police and fire department, a lot of them have been there for double shifts or whatever the case is. A lot of the maintenance people have been there for a long time. You've got AC Transit, our big brother at AC Transit, going, when can we have Solano back open? Like, there's a ton of moving parts to this. The East Bay Regional Park Police, who use Solano Avenue to go to Tilden back and forth, need to be advised, and all this other stuff. The city does an amazing job. The event producers as well does an amazing job at clearing the street. I don't know if anybody has seen the street at like 6 o'clock or 6:30. It's remarkable. It looks just like it did in the morning. It is phenomenal. And then the next day we have a group of volunteers called the Blue Glove Crew that goes up and down the streets, as well as some of the side streets, and it picks up all the trash that the maintenance departments miss. So at the end of the day, probably 12 o'clock the next day on the Monday, there's no visible sign that there was an event the day before. Now that I've said that, I'm going to ruin it this year, but the street sweepers are coming.
And Green Mary. So also please, and waste management in the house again. Hey, one of our sponsors. Please realize that recycling and please get your your items into the proper containers. There's a mobile app for that, as well as if you're questioning about where to get rid of some things, you can also go to stopwaste.org. They will also help you there. So just make sure that you camping rules, people. Leave the place better than you found it. Yeah, LIV baby.
How many? What was our count for the room? 46. So we cannot do a minute each. Yeah, so that's not going to happen. Let's do this. I'm essentially done, but I'm happy to talk to people. I'm happy to talk to people online and all that other stuff. Thank you. But